Afternoon, Dave.
Hey, Mark.
So I know you're in the now, and I understand as a head coach you're not worried about things like this, but I got to ask because we've got Clefbaum coming up next. You're looking at a nice defense, a good team, you're building and all that stuff, and one of your very top guys is a complete question mark for next year. What is that? What do you think about that? You might have him, you might not.
You know what? To tell you the truth, Spec, I'm not thinking about it right now. I'll worry about that this summer. We're trying to. We got to get Kulikov up and going here. We've got. We're you kind of stay in the here and now. Obviously Clef is he's a big part of our team and he's been missed. But that being said, you can't sit there and dwell on it. You got to try to get by it. So we're really concentrating on what we're doing right now, and we. I've talked to Clef a few times since he's had his surgery, and he's in good spirits. So hopefully he can continue to rehab, and we get a little clearer picture where he's at this summer. So you're hopeful. We'd certainly be excited to have him back, but right now we know he's not going to be here in this season. So we just have to deal with what we got.
All right. Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Daniel Nunjamoman, The Athletic.
Hi, Dave.
Daniel?
Could you, say what it was like to have Jujhar Khaira back on the ice, and if you have any kind of update in terms of his status in the next week or so?
He's been cleared to skate, but no contact, and so he got out there, did a little bit of practice, and then we scrimmaged a little bit that he didn't take part in. So he's feeling all right, but I know he's still got some more tests that he's seeing some doctors. So he's just trying to keep his skating legs a little bit, but not really involved with the group right now yet.
Sure. And with the Dmitry Kulikov, I know you said a few days ago, you probably want to try him with a couple people, see where he fits in. But right now you have him with Larson. What kind of what do you envision for that pair if you do indeed stick with it?
Well, we'd like to see a solid veteran shutdown pair. Can play heavy, play against other teams' top players, good penalty killers. Just do a real strong defending job. And we'll see where it goes, but we talked about it. Our staff talked about it, where we think we want to look at him first, and that's where we're going to try him first.
Jim Matheson, Post Media.
Dave, you also had Barry back with Nurse this morning, and Bear with Jones. Is that you had Barry apart from Nurse? Just want to see how he looks back with him again, because that's where he's most comfortable.
Nothing's set in stone, Jim, and there's times when we flip that back and forth during the game, depending on how the game's going. So we have the flexibility on that right side a little bit. Bearsy's played a lot with Nurse, and so it's kind of goes back and forth. But today we put him up there. Just he spent a lot of time this year, but that could be game to game or situation. So we like our depth on defense. We've got some people that can do different roles and play in some different situations. And Jim Playfair kind of manages that stuff back there very well.
And I didn't see Lagesson out there. What's his story?
Yeah, he had a little procedure done yesterday, and he just was a little sore today. He'll be back tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Tony Barraro, Oilers TV.
Good afternoon, Dave.
Afternoon.
You talked about Dmitry Kulikov not too long ago. Just wanted to get your initial impressions. I know it's only been 2 skates. You had the morning skate a few days ago and the practice today. Your initial impressions, and what kind of elements do you hope Dmitry Kulikov can factor into in accordance to the Oilers game plan?
You know what? I think he's a real solid pro. He's he's played in the league a long time. Understands the game very well. Sitting down with him, talking about our game, he understands how we want to play. So that experience will help him hopefully get up to speed as quick as possible. He's just a strong defender. He's a guy that has played a lot of penalty kill, can move the puck pretty well. He's got decent size, and has the ability to play against other teams' top players. So he's just a real good, solid defender that we think will come in and help our group.
Thank you.
Derek Van Diest, Post Media.
Hi, Dave. I just wanted to circle back to Jujhar a little bit. What was scary about that injury was that the hit didn't seem that vicious, that kind of buckled him. And I know he was coming off a pretty ugly incident with the fight in Calgary. How much of a concern is that going forward now and putting him in the lineup? Where are you at with that?
Well, we got to make sure he's all right, and he's going through a number of tests now. If you look at that when he got hit there, if you back up the tape about 10 or 15 seconds, he went to hit a guy and caught a piece of him, but then caught his head on the glass, kind of missed him and caught his head on the glass. So I think he got bumped on the head there, went back into the play, and then as the play came out, he got stood up with that other guy. So he got bumped a couple times in a short amount of time there. So I think I'm not sure that one hit was the one that kind of stung him. So, but the doctors aren't going to put him in a situation where he's in any jeopardy whatsoever. Our doctors are going through a number of tests with him. He's from everything from the neuropsych stuff to make sure everything's all right. So we won't put him back in a situation where if there's any danger at all, and that's going to come from the doctors.
And also, do you have an update on Cassian this morning?
Yeah, he's actually, I'll probably a little farther along tomorrow with it. He still was getting some tests done here today. He looks like he could be out a while, but we'll maybe address that a little more tomorrow morning.
And just one more quick one from me. I just want to, Ryan McLeod looks like he's going to get out of quarantine on Sunday.
Yeah.
What are the plans for him now that there seems to be a couple of spots open up front for him? Are you looking at getting him in some
Yeah,
games?
I talked to him for a while yesterday. He's been sitting in a hotel room for a week, but he just came off playing 6 games in 9 nights. So the first couple of days he probably needed a rest, and then he's trying to do a little bike and some stuff there in his hotel room. But we'll have to see where he is on Sunday. He'll practice with us on Sunday before we leave to go to Winnipeg, and we'll see where he's at. But we'd like to get him in the lineup. He was playing very well down there. We'd like to have a look at him, but we want to make sure that he's up and running again before we put him in there.
Jim Matheson.
Dave, Larson seems to be your one defenseman that he's played with just about every left side defenseman you've got except for Darnell. Is that because he can play with anybody, or is it just he's a steady guy and you can play with a young guy or you can play with an old guy?
Well, you know what? He's a real steadying force. He's a good veteran guy, and he is a stabilizer. He's a good leader, and you can rely on him. You know what you're going to get out of him every night. And he's been more than willing to take those young guys under his wing and help them along. And then when you got Chris Russell there, they've been a real solid pair. So Lars he's an easy guy to play with because you know exactly what you're going to get out of him. He's a strong defender, really competitive, and that's why we've liked putting some of the kids with him, because Lars is such a stabilizing guy there.
A couple of more things. Why did Nygaard not play last game?
He's got a hand injury that he's dealing with. He practiced. He started
same hand that he broke.
Yeah. It's. I don't think it's anything. It's not anything that's serious, but he got nicked up a little bit. The first game against what was it? The first game against Montreal. Yeah, and then was unable to play last game. Came to practice, started practice today, but didn't finish practice. So we'll see where it gets the next few days.
And one quick one on Cahoon. Last game, because of the injury to Cassie, and he only played 11 shifts, and 3 of them were 10 seconds left. Yet today he's on the line with Connor. Is that just because you see him as an offensive winger, and down the lineup more is not as effective, so he's got to play with?
Yeah, well, he's well rested today. That's why we put him up there.
Is he going to stay there?
We'll see how it goes. But he is. You're exactly right. He's a better player up playing. With up there with. He's played most of the year with Leon, but we haven't really tried him with Connor too much. So we'll look at him there for a couple of days in practice and see how it goes. But the one the other night, it was just we were looking for a little more size, and Neil and Chasen were playing a little more. So don't read too much into that.
And in Neil's case, he can't. If one of your players who didn't play last game plays, he's only on emergency loan, so he'd have to go back. He couldn't play. Is that how it works? He's in for somebody who was hurt, right? His last game.
Yeah, but now if you look at our we were only at 12 forwards. Now we've lost JJ, we've lost Cassian, we lost Nygaard, so we're in emergency. So it's
He can stay. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.